I have a problem, and that problem is I own way too many FairyLoot books that I've never read. They're gorgeous, they're expensive, they're displayed like trophies, and somehow they never get picked up. So today, I'm forcing myself to actually read them. And the way I plan to do it is with these cute little scratch-offs. I'm going to use these scratch-offs to decide which FairyLoot books we're committing to for this month. No cheating, no swapping. Whatever is on that scratch-off is the book we're reading. And by the end of this vlog, we're going to answer the question, are my FairyLoot books actually worth it, or are they just pretty? The way that these work is you take this cute little sticker, you put the book name in the middle, and then you put one of these little circles over it, and that will allow you to scratch off what book you're going to be reading. I'm just going to go through the books that I put on these scratch offs really quick. I'm not going into any detail, just the names. A Dance of Lies, Graceless Heart, Cold Wire, To Cage a Wild Bird, Fallen City, Seven Deadly Thorns, Dawn of a Firebird, Courting Bristol Keats, Immortal Consequences, Alchemy of Secrets, The Hurricane Wars, and last but not least, Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. Before I scratch one of these off, let me know in the comments which one you hope I'm going to get. And if you read it, don't spoil it, but let me know if you liked it. I have them turned over just in case there's anything that would let me know what's what by the color or, And I'm just going to pick one face down. Let's do this one. This is the one we pick, so now we just have to scratch it off. Now, I didn't think this through. What am I going to scratch it with? This is just honestly diabolical what I'm about to do. I don't even know where I got this. It's like part of a screwdriver or something, like one of those mechanical ones. I don't know why it's on my desk, but that's what I'm about to use. We got the Hurricane Wars. And I know I don't seem very excited for this. And yes, I did pick this to be on my list. And I picked it because it's been just sitting on my shelf for the longest, I think. I'm genuinely nervous about this because I've been avoiding it for a reason. I've seen a lot of people read this book. They say it's extremely slow. They don't love it. And then I see a couple that did. So I don't know how I'm going to feel. Let me go grab the book and we'll get into what it's about. This is The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzan. And honestly, besides people saying that it's a little slow, I don't know too much about it. It says, a Taliesin was left on the steps of a Sardovian orphanage as a baby. All she has ever known is the Hurricane Wars, as her people fight for freedom from the tyranny of the Night Emperor Garrus? Garrus, maybe? I'm so bad with some of these names. But are they truly her people? Taliesin dreams of one day finding where she comes from, her family, and the source of the magic that flows through her veins like sunlight. Alaric of House Osanast, master of the Shadow-Forged Legion, and Gaheris's only son and heir, has been honed into a weapon by his father. Tasked with obliterating the neighboring Sardovian Alfold, Alaric focuses on only one goal: extinguish all threats to the Night Empire with his armies and his storm ships and his shadow magic. That is, until he sees Taliesin burning brightly on the battlefield with the same light magic that slew his grandfather, turned his father into a monster, and ignited the decade-long Hurricane Wars. He tries and fails to kill her, something about her making him pause, allowing his now greatest enemy to slip through his fingers. But a new horror emerges from across the Eversea, one that promises to cause even more devastation than the hurricane wars. Only Taliesin and Alaric can stop it. Will these mortal foes be able to come together, or will they end up destroying each other and dooming their worlds in the process? Honestly, that sounds like a good time. So I'm going to say I have high hopes for this at least. And I don't think I'll have time to start it today. So we'll probably pick this up tomorrow. Before we get into our book, we got a package. This is from Seattle Chocolates, and they sent us a Valentine's Day gift of their new chocolate, Forbidden Fruits. These are the Forbidden Fruits chocolates that they sent. This one is coconut and pineapple dark chocolate truffle bar. They sent us a couple of those, some pink bubbly truffles, which if you have not tried these yet, these are my absolute favorite. A couple months or maybe about 6 months ago, they sent me some bars to try, and this was the absolute best. It's like Pop Rocks in your mouth. It's like a party. And then they sent us some birthday cake ones. Now, did I already open it so I could try it because I have zero self-control? Absolutely. And I thought if you were to ask me if I would ever like a coconut pineapple mixture in a chocolate bar, I would have said absolutely not. However, the flavor is very subtle. If you like dark chocolate, I think you'll like this. It's only little hints of coconut, and then you get these chunks, and the chunks of pineapple just like burst flavor into your mouth. It's honestly happy dance worthy. So I'm going to sit here and try not to eat all this chocolate, and we're going to start the hurricane wars. When the dedication says, I did this for the rats, I don't know. What does that mean I'm even going into? Ooh, and I love a map at the beginning. There's all these little icons on one side that say stuff like Fire Dancer, Rain Singer, Enchanter, Wind Caller, Light Weaver, Shadow Forged. Then on the right it says the Night Empire. And I don't know, that font is very difficult for me to read. Okay, so just in the prologue, I'm honestly hoping that the entire book isn't this way, because I don't like when things are over-described. The fanned gaps between the long-leaf pines offered glimpses of destruction in veins of red gold embers, their needle-pricked canopy silhouetted against a crown of smoke beneath the 7 moons. While I do appreciate being able to picture things, I'll be honest, when my brain just reads that right off the bat, I have to switch my mode into a different type of reading. Does that make any sense? It's not something I'm just going to read. I have to think and read, if that makes any sense.
My house has been an absolute mess because we are starting to figure out what we need to do to move, so please excuse it. But if you hear all this noise in the background, I have one puppy. She's probably about 11 years old. She's just chewing on her bone nicely. And my other two, a 3-year-old Pyrenees mix and a 4-month-old Pyrenees mix, are going nuts in the background, just chasing each other. So if you hear tons of noise, that's why.
I'm about 100 pages into the Hurricane Wars. And first of all, this book doesn't ease you into anything. You're dropped straight into a war. The world that we're introduced to has been shaped by this like massive magical conflict, and you're literally thrown into it immediately. So it does get like a little confusing because the terminology that's being used, the type of magics that you're being introduced to, the type of technology that they're using, you're just like, what's going on here? And everyone's identity in this book is literally tied to these hurricane wars that's been going on for literal decades. The magic system is interesting. You're dealing with very elemental types of magic, but then you have this light versus dark and a couple of other things that have been introduced, but I'm not really sure about. And like these different types of magic, especially the light and the dark, represent entire like empires and cultures. The magic feels very powerful and dangerous, but I'm still not sure what exactly each type of magic can do. It's very like weaponized magic. And there's these like rifts in the world where you can, I feel like what they're saying is you can gather some of that magic, and I don't know if you need necessarily to be able to wield that magic to, I don't know, mine it is kind of what they're doing. I'm a little confused on that aspect. Taliesin is our FMC. She is a soldier that's grown up in the midst of this war. She is extremely capable. She's battle hardened. She's a pilot, and she very much exists in like pure survival mode. I really like that she's a very competent FMC. I cannot stand FMCs that are ditzy and dumb and rely on the male main character to do everything for them. And then our male main character, Alaric, he's on the opposing side of this war, and he is very much the powerhouse of his side from what we've read. And he just so happens to be the heir to that empire. And Alaric has been raised in this war. He has been raised by this pretty evil father to believe whatever it is that that empire believes. And I'm not like 100% sure, but I know they feel very threatened by the light. He's very duty driven. He's very calculating. And it feels like they want you to think he's cold, but I don't get that from him. I can see where they're trying to make him that way, but I just don't feel like that's what I'm seeing. So basically the first 100 pages are setting us up in this book. The foundation's being laid for whatever's going to happen between our two main characters, and they're being positioned on either side of not just one battle that's occurring, but multiple battles in this massive war. I would say this is a little bit heavier on the fantasy side than I thought it was going to be, at least in this moment. But I'm not disappointed by that. I'm actually loving it more because of that. So at this moment, I'm really enjoying it. I'm very intrigued. I feel like there's this slow burn that's starting to simmer, and I'm extremely curious where we're going to go from here. I think I'm just going to get ready for bed and call it quits for tonight. But I'm definitely picking this back up tomorrow, and I can't wait to see where it goes. It's the next day, and I haven't had time to read at all. We've basically been told we are most likely, like when I say most likely, like just waiting to officially sign a paper that we are moving. So, and I think like by moving, we're moving by April 1st. I'll have to be there by April 1st. So that gives me like less than 2 months. So I'm kind of freaking out because that's a lot to do in less than 2 months. So I'm not going to have time to just sit and read for the most part, at least today.
So I think what we're going to try is this new Spotify feature. I went to go see if the Hurricane Wars was on Spotify, and it like popped up that there's this page match feature. I don't know if you can see it, like right here. And apparently, if I take a picture of the page I'm on, it will line up the audiobook for me exactly where I am in the book, which is kind of cool. So right now, we're about to start chapter 10. When I tap it, it says scan to listen. Let's see if this will work. We're going to hit scan to listen. Whatever. I tried to show you what I did. I'm just not good at this stuff, okay? Anyways, it says right there, we're at track 14, 22% complete, 12 hours left. What is that? There's no way that book takes me 12 hours to read. But we're going to go ahead and play it from here and get our book read with the audio while getting some stuff done around the house. Here's the thing. I haven't listened to too much more, right? But I feel like this is saying this is an enemies to lover type of book, and I don't like when books say enemies to lovers anymore because I don't feel like there's this hate between them. They're on opposite sides, and I guess you could look at them as enemies because they're on different sides of a war, but like, are they really enemies if the MMC is helping her? Are they really enemies if he's like having somewhat decent thoughts about her? He's attracted to her already. They don't hate each other. They're just on opposite sides of a war. So I just feel like that's not necessarily enemies to lovers or enemies to whatever they're trying to get to. Just random thought.
Good morning. I finally finished the Hurricane Wars. And you know what? I really liked it, especially the romance. But I completely understand why some people don't like it at all. I actually don't feel that great. I woke up sick, so I kind of look and feel like crap. I also sound like crap, but it is what it is. My favorite part of the book was the romance. It was tension-filled. The banter was just perfect. I love a book with good banter. I really liked the dynamic between them. There was like this shared trauma because they'd both been on opposite sides of this war for their entire lives. And honestly, their relationship kind of kept me invested in this entire book. The issue with this book is the pacing. There are moments where it slowed down way more than I expected, and I was like fighting to push through those moments. And I was they were kind of boring. But once you pushed through and you got back to some of the more interesting bits, it was like you were going again. And it just felt like a little repetitive because, they keep going back to the fact that
They're enemies. They're on opposite sides of the war. But really, like, I don't see an enemy as someone who thinks positively about you or who's attracted to you or who, like, I don't know. To me, enemies hate each other with every fiber of their being, and I didn't feel that way about them, even though they were supposed to be that way. It definitely wasn't bad. It was just, like, slightly uneven. I think if you're someone who needs constant action, if you need the pace to be really quickly, I don't think this is going to be for you. If you enjoy more character-driven stories and like a romance that develops over time, then I think you might enjoy this. So overall, I think I would give this a 3.5. And I do have the second book. I think it's called Monsoon Rising. And yeah, I had a good enough time. Even though the pacing was off, I had a good enough time where I will be continuing this series in the future. There's no way I could read that back to back, because if the pacing is off in that one too, I think it'll kill it for me if I read it back to back. But if I give it some time in between, and who knows, maybe that one won't have this pacing issue that the Hurricane Wars did. So yeah, 3.5. I am gonna make some breakfast and I'll bring you back when we choose our next book. I am so disappointed in Seven Deadly Thorns. Here's what it was supposed to be. By the way, I'm sick. I'm sorry. It's early. Viola Sinclair has hidden her shadow magic her whole life. Discovery means certain death for in the kingdom of Aragoa, dark magic is forbidden. When the queen finds out Viola's secret, she sends the royal assassin to kill her. He's given a cursed tattoo, 7 thorns on his arm, for the 7 days he has to complete this deadly task. If he fails, he will be the one to die. The assassin is Rose Roquelart, entitled prince, arrogant fellow student at Vadenburg Academy, and Viola's mortal enemy. The chance to strike Viola down is at Roz's fingertips, but he needs something from Viola, and he's willing to spare her life and fake their engagement to get it. Forced to work together, Viola and Roz uncover terrible secrets, sinister threats, and an irresistible attraction. Can they learn to trust each other in time to save themselves and bring the light back to Aragoa? That premise sounded so freaking good. I was so excited to get to this one. Let me tell you what it really was. It was a Dromoyne fanfic mixed with Snow White. And there were too many borrowed characters, in my opinion. There were too many borrowed terms. We're at a school of magic, or with magical people. And there's prefix. And they mean the same exact thing they do in Harry Potter. And the queen, whose husband has died, has a huntsman that she sends out. I'm sorry. The terminology is just way too similar. And when there's a retelling of something, or something is a fanfic or heavily based on another book, I don't like there to be that much shared stuff. I like it to be able to be unique and stand on its own. And I didn't feel that about this one. And that could just be me. I know that there are some people that love this book, so could be me. But this one is a no. So it will be going to a home, hopefully, where someone else can like this story. And yeah, I don't know. So we're going to pick another one. Give us something good. Like, please. This one. Okay. We got Dawn of the Firebird for the next one. Let me go find it, and we'll see what it's about. feel like it's been a little while, but I really don't think it's been that long. I've just been crazy busy. I started Dawn of the Firebird, and let me tell you, I'm about 65 pages in. I don't know what all these horrible reviews are for. I'm loving this. Right now, we're following a girl with no name. In her tribe, normally the father is the one who names the child. Her father is not part of the tribe. Her father is an emperor. That kind of, I don't want to say they took over the tribe. I might be remembering this slightly wrong, but their tribe protects the borders for the emperor, and in return, they get left alone. So that's who her dad is. He has not claimed or named her. So right now, she has no name. So we're going through periods of time where we're following her early life. She's in this nomadic tribe and she's learning to be a keeper of stories, a storyteller. And there's something different about her. When she was born, there were birds surrounding her. Sometimes these weird things happen, but then violence shatters everything she knows. And in the chaos that follows that violence, a very rare and powerful magic awakens inside of her. And this marks her as somebody absolutely extraordinary. So really, so far, all we've gone through is establishing her past, where she's come from, the magic. We don't know too much about the magic, but we know this magic has awakened inside of her. And we know that she has now sought out her father for safety, and she's entered this very dangerous court life. And it kind of reminds me of the court life in Game of Thrones. What was the name of those? The Sand People? Maybe the Sand People. Oh my God, I just looked it up. They're not the Sand People. They're the Sand Snakes. There was sand in the naming. That's what it kind of reminds me of, because the way that their court worked is they were very willing to kill each other. They were very willing to betray each other if that meant one of their children or a child was betraying another child could get to be the heir to the throne, or whatever they call it. If you're an emperor, I'm not sure if it's still called a throne. So that's where we are. I'm having a really good time with it. It is more epic fantasy than I think most people are going to be used to. However, I'm very intrigued. Very intrigued. And I like that type of political climate where you never know where danger's coming. And danger isn't always from the outside, but from the people that you're living with daily. Absolutely love it. So I'm having a good time. I'm going to continue and see where this book takes us. I'm going to make myself a little lunch. I've been reading a little bit. I'm not going to update you just yet because I feel like I need to read a little bit more to have a full update. I have been meal prepping though, and by meal prepping, I mean like this looks like a really big portion, but I promise it's not as big as it looks. There's only a little bit of rice in it, and it's mostly broccoli and chicken. And making extra when I'm making dinner has made my life so much easier because I always have lunch for the next day. And I don't know what I've been doing for most of my life, but I've been missing out. Anyways, this has been one of my favorite things that's quick and easy to eat, and I can prep a ton of it at the same time. And I can make it different. Sometimes I make it in like a chicken broth with like a lemony flavor. I don't know how to explain it. When I make it like this though, I add soy sauce. I don't add too much. I'm picky with soy sauce. Either I want a ton of it on or just a little bit. Okay, I guess I added a bunch. And then I use the Yum Yum sauce, and I'm obsessed with this stuff. I think I prep this specifically because I like this sauce this way, and I just pour a ton of it on. Totally not healthy whatsoever, but I don't care. It's good. I literally just covered it. So yeah, I'm going to eat lunch, keep reading, and I will update you later. I finished Dawn of the Firebird, and I think I know what some people are talking about. Now, when it comes to this book, the first 50% really, really had me. I was so intrigued. I loved being in the tribes. I loved
seeing tribe daily life. I liked the storytelling aspect of it. I even liked the conquering and tribe politics, the politics at the Emperor's court. That was very similar to like the Sand Snakes in Game of Thrones. So intrigued. And then we hit the middle. I don't even know how to explain exactly what's happening. We're going and infiltrating this school where they're learning how to do this magic of their greatest enemies, right? But like, what is this magic? I don't feel like it was a fully fleshed out magic system as cool as that magic was. It did give us like these little things, like there's 77 points throughout your body, and that's where your magic is stored. And you can activate each of these points. And, you know, it does kind of different things based on the points you're activating. And I just thought the concept was very unique and very, very cool. But I didn't feel like I got enough out of it. Like, I wanted more. And I feel like the plot just like slowed down. The character development wasn't there. And I think it's very difficult with epic fantasies to like really nail it. And I think she did a great job like at trying to. And I would be very interested in reading more from this author in the future. I just think like that second half somehow got away from her. But it wasn't bad. I gave it like an overall 3 stars. Okay, so after 3 FairyLoot books, here's my opinion so far. I really liked the Hurricane Wars. This one genuinely surprised me in the best way. I was invested, I cared. I would actually recommend it to very certain types of readers. The Seven Thorns one, heavily disliked. Did not like that at all. It was like a really weird fan fiction that didn't like replace things. I don't know. Didn't like it. And Dawn of the Firebird. It was okay. It was good. Not bad. Not amazing. Don't know if I would recommend this one though. But for like the first 50%, I had a great time. But you know what? That's exactly what the point of this video is. I've been treating my FairyLoot books like they're collectibles instead of actual books. And now that I'm reading them, I'm realizing some of them are really worth it and others not so much. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to make this a revolving series on my channel. I'm going to make it my goal to read as many FairyLoot books this year as I can. No more just like letting them sit on my shelf untouched. And by the end of this year, I am going to make a very difficult decision. And that is whether I keep my FairyLoot membership for next year. Because at the end of the day, I want to be able to read these books and I want to be able to enjoy them. And if my reading taste has changed, then, you know, it is what it is. I no longer just want to pay for beautiful editions on my shelf. I want them to be editions that I want to read as well. And right now we got a strong win, a hard no, and one that's kind of middle of the road. And honestly, that's not what I expected. I expected to love them all. So if you are a FairyLoot subscriber, let me know in the comments if you think your subscription is worth it. Do you read them or do you use them more as decorative books on your shelf? And if you've read any of these 3, let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you think I'm wrong or if you enjoyed it more than I did or vice versa. I actually had a ton of fun doing it this way and I can't wait to do more. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you're new, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. I hope y'all have an amazing day and I will see you in the next one.